You listening to RockSlamRadio.com. From all studios to the world, we bring you the finest in quality entertainment. So grab a groupie, throw some horns, and settle in for another fine show from RockSlamRadio.com.
You have boarded Lester's tour bus with your host, Lester Rockwell, live on Rock Slam Radio. So find a seat and settle in, and be prepared for sudden stops. Some settling may occur.
Welcome to Lester's Tour Bus. That is the band Who Was I. We will actually have them on a little bit later today. I also have in the studio with me Thomas Curtis. He is from the studio Truth and Acting. And,
Truthful Acting.
Truthful Studios. Acting. I apologize. Like Truth and Politics. Truthful Acting. And he is going to be talking today about theater and movies in Florida. Of course, we do the Florida music thing. This week we're going to be doing the Florida music and the Florida movie thing. How you doing today, Mr. Curtis?
I'm doing great, Lester. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad you asked me in.
The big event this weekend was, of course, the Evil Twins show. I went and saw Manson and Rob Zombie yesterday. I've actually seen Manson a few times. I was actually surprised it was my first time seeing Rob Zombie, just how good his show was. A lot of theatrics, a lot of fire, a lot of evil. I could really feel the presence of the Dark Overlord there among us. I think at one point they actually tried to summon him on stage.
I get that idea every time I hear Zombie. It's unfortunate I couldn't make the show. I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah, it went on in it was actually in Orlando on the 26th, and because of the storm, which I guess these guys aren't used to Florida, but it had a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain, and they canceled the show. And Zombie, he actually made fun of Florida a little bit. He called us swamp creatures.
Swamp creatures.
Yeah, so something along those lines. That's right. So, but at least we don't flee from hurricanes. So, Rob Zombie, if you're listening to the show, which is pretty darn doubtful, go to hell. Anyway, go home. No, just kidding. He was fantastic, and I went reading about the band and his guitarist. He had this amazing guitarist. His name is John Five, which is not his real name, obviously, but he had actually auditioned for. He's played in all these bands over the years, and he had auditioned for Marilyn Manson at some point, and was late showing up for the audition, so he didn't get the job. So now, Marilyn Manson is opening for Rob Zombie, so I guess he got the better gig. But that'll teach you a lesson about promptness, which is something me, myself, really need to learn. But
you said the guy's name is John Five?
John Five, yeah, the guitarist for Rob Zombie.
Wasn't he in a 1980s movie about robots?
No.
Short Circuit, Johnny Five? Is that him?
I did not even make that association.
He must have loved it.
That's probably it, because there's a lot of fascination with robots and monster movies, if you know anything about Rob Zombie, and they had some rather impressive, well engineered devices, transportation things that Rob Zombie rode, and just big evil monster looking things. And so I could see an association with Rob Zombie and robots, and then Johnny Five playing guitar. That's excellent. I love that engineering sort of stuff, which reminded me of something this weekend I had to deal with. I have a fascination with numbers.
Okay.
And like pi. You guys want a small math lesson on what pi is? Pi, you used it in school, but you have the radius of a circle, and if you follow that distance along the curve of the circle, that same distance as the radius is called a radian. Well, there's pi radians halfway around the distance of the circle, right? And of course, that's a hugely significant number in pretty much any sort of functions that study astronomy or biology or whatever. Somewhere along the way, you're going to come across the number pi. There's also the natural log numbers, there's Avogadro's number, there's all these numbers in science that hold this certain amount of significance. Well, I discovered another number, and this is going to be called the Lester's number, and that is the 4-to-1 ratio. It's the food stamp 4-to-1 ratio. I'm telling you, this is
Hold
sound.
on a second. You just said the food stamp 4-to-1 ratio.
That is correct.
And this is Lester's logarithm.
This is Lester's log.
Okay.
So that's actually a very good name. Thank you. See, that's why I bring you guys along.
I'm glad to be here.
If you've noticed, whenever you go to the grocery store, there's going to be somebody standing in front of you at a certain time of the month every single year. And there's going to be lines and lines of carts of people. And they're going to be using those food stamp cards with the American flag. And that's not to say not all people get into a situation that sometimes they need a little bit of help. And I don't mean to be disrespectful at all. However, I feel that a large number of these people don't really fit that criteria. They're just milking the system, and I know you feel the same way. So you're standing in line. The other day, I worked 10 hours. I go in there. The wife tells me, she's like, go in there and pick me up a couple things. So I go in there with a couple things. I'm standing behind these people with a cart full of Little Debbie snack cakes, high C, and snow crab. And so they pull out the card, they swipe the card. Of course, it pisses you off. Now, I think that there should be special stores. Like, if you're going to use food stamps, there are so many food stamp sales right now. If somebody should take this idea and run with it, a grocery store purely for food stamp recipients. It'll do, they could, it'll streamline the stores that other people have to shop at. And of course, that's kind of my rant for the day. But the significance of the number, it's the 4-to-1 weight to IQ ratio, is let's say you have a person with an 80 IQ. Okay, and somebody with a 80 IQ could function on their own until they reach about 320 pounds. So they may not necessarily need food stamps until they hit that 4-to-1 ratio. Now, if you have somebody with a normal IQ around 100, then they start getting in trouble around 400 pounds. Somebody say, a very intelligent person, 120 IQ, they've got to be getting pretty close to 500 pounds, 480 pounds. So because your intelligence can compensate for a certain amount of being overweight, but even if you're intelligent, once you cross that 4-to-1 ratio, your weight's going to slow you down enough you have to get on food stamps. So anyways, I'm going to document that, have that peer reviewed, and there you go.
Lester, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I like it, but it's ridiculous.
Well, on that note, so tell me about yourself. What is it that you're doing as far as the Florida acting and theater and movie scene?
Well, right now, Lester, it's all about networking. I've met a lot of great people within the Florida film And it's just like, the Florida music, man. We need to keep it home. Everybody feels the need to take off and go to different places to do these things. I mean, a lot of stuff's happening in Florida, and I'm benefiting from it. I hooked up with Marco DeGeorge and Rob Moss. They run the Truthful Acting Studios. It's over in Orlando, and they teach the Meisner approach. And I got to be honest, I'm not real sure where we're going with it, but all I know is that I trust these guys completely, and I know it's going somewhere, somewhere great. But basically, what we're learning to do is to live truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way I live my life as well.
That's what I like about you, Lester.
Or am I living an imaginary life under truthful circumstances?
I think that might be more your speed there.
Yeah. So, and you're also in college.
Yeah, I'm at UCF studying film. I want to be on both ends of the camera. Basically, I'm so self-absorbed. I want to learn how to make movies for myself.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's a highly competitive world, and I think if you could do everything for yourself, and mentioning that, I just remembered I went to University of Florida, and I actually got to meet the two guys. One of them, a young guy, one an older guy, but both of them went to UCF, the same film school or film study program, whatever it is that you're in, there, and they were the ones who did the Blair Witch Project.
Wow.
Yep, and both of those directors actually come from UCF. So we're going to talk about that later. I actually have the band Who Was I on the Air. Nolan, is that call? Do we have that call right now? I'm sorry. You're okay. So that's going to be a minute from now. I actually saw Thomas Curtis here in Cocoa. There's some sort of I don't remember what it was, a playhouse?
Yeah, it was a Surfside Playhouse. I was in a production called Dead Man's Cell Phone. I played a character named Dwight. It was a little different for me. Well, okay, it wasn't really different for me. The guy was a pansy.
Yeah, yeah. But you did the part really, really well. But it was an interesting concept, whoever wrote it. It was a young girl, who took this guy's cell phone and basically padded the fact that he was dead. And so, different people that he knew would call the phone. And so she had conversations with these people, and she actually built a relationship with the various people that this guy was associated with, even though she didn't know him. And it was very entertaining. And you guys did a really good job.
Yeah, it was really cool because I didn't identify with my character so much as the character of Jean that was played by Jessica Bosworth, and she was fantastic. But I identified with her character. It reminds me of a good friend of mine that does this all the time, where he just he makes these imaginary people and he conversates with. It's a long story. We don't need to really delve into that right now. But
well, I have a call. I do have Who Was I on the line. I'd like to get to that right now. Can you put the call through, please? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Darren.
Darren, this is, not much. How you doing today?
Good, buddy. I'm good. Chilling, watching some football on a day off with music.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I wish I was kind of watching football too. I'll try to get to some of the games. My buddy here, he's in a big pool this week, so he's watching the games really closely.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
But Darren Fox, he's the singer of Who Was I. This is another just absolutely excellent Florida band. I saw them. They were touring with a band called Wacko from Portugal. And obviously you remember that because you guys were together for how long?
We did like 28 days straight.
28 days straight.
Florida.
And you guys actually went over to Europe and played with them over there as well?
They didn't play with us there. We played with like everybody from Overkill to Devil Driver to Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under. Yeah, that was Magic Circle Festival and Metal Camp. And
you played with Devil Driver?
Oh, absolutely.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were on the bill as well. Devil Driver, like I said, Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under. Just
I love those guys. I love every band you just said, but Devil Driver.
Yeah, who's from Tampa?
Yeah. Is Devil Driver? Are they as cool in person as they seem on their videos?
Yeah, Dead is really cool. He's a singer. He's the dude from Cold Chamber. He's very cool, dude.
Oh, wow. So, tell me about Who Was I? How'd you guys first get together?
Wow. Well, Steve Harvey, pretty much the founding member from Chokehold, Grumpy, of course, very good bands, wanted to start a new project. And he called me in and said, let's do something. Let's build some people and find the right people. And we did it. We hired Aaron as our drummer, Aaron Dietz from Chokehold. Then we got Bill Rhodes from Grumpy as our bass player. And then we got our last big buddy coming in, Stowe Cephas on lead guitar from Chokehold, the singer. He's playing guitar with us now. And so far, so good, man. Lots of things are happening.
Yep. And the first time I saw you, at that time, you only had one guitarist. And then, I don't know, did you get your second guitarist? Like, it's been within a year, right?
Yeah, it's been within the year, yeah.
And I think that it at least filled out the music a little bit better. I guess that's the advantage of a second guitarist. But it really, took you guys to that next level. I mean, you were already, you have one of the best Florida drummers, obviously, and that's not to exclude anybody else in the band.
No, absolutely.
But I mean,
we've all been together, not to cut you off. We've all been together 20 some years together. And Aaron was my drummer at 14 years old, and he's now, we've been together forever. I mean, you know what I mean? So we're very tight that way. Ed and Stowe, just our new songs we're writing. Our CD will be done in January, and it's just incredible music.
It is incredible, and if you get a chance to see Who Was I, they do play out a lot. It's all original, very, very good. But the strong point of that band is their vocalist, whom we're speaking to right now.
Wow, thank you.
Well, it is true. The as far as the music nowadays, it doesn't necessarily focus on some of the more complicated parts of singing, and you pretty much have that stuff locked down to what I believe you could sing for any band in any style whatsoever. And I'm going to play some of your music and let people judge for themselves.
Well, beautiful.
Yeah. So I appreciate the humility, but if I could sing like you, I definitely wouldn't be, I'd quit my day job and find something else to do myself.
Well, thanks, brother. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Can you stay with us a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of your songs. Just let everybody get a chance to listen to some Who Was I. Is
there older stuff?
I have the song Outsider, Soar, and something, or Vanishing Memory. What's the story on the song Outsider?
Wow, that's it's about a kind of a dude that I knew that I kind of stuck up for in school a lot, actually. And I had a girl, or neighbor, Melissa, our friend Melissa Wood. Her daughter wrote some lyrics. I was walking in their house and I seen them, and it's about a kid that gets picked on all the time. He's the outsider, He's just that dude.
Yeah.
Everybody passes him up in the halls, He's that guy, and everybody out there knows that feeling, I've been there, done that. So.
Well, I was probably the guy picking on the kid. Of course, I feel bad about that now, but I was probably on the other side of that back in the day.
Yeah, you were always big, so.
Yeah, and extremely good looking. Damn it. Anyways, yeah, big guy, big good looking guy. Anyway, I'm gonna go on ahead and play the song "Who Was I, Outsider."
Go for it.
Hey, Darren.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, that is a really good song for a lot of reasons, actually.
Yeah, I think so as well, man. I felt it when I sang it, you know.
Now, is that one new?
No, actually, it's not. Just we really haven't played it lately. We've been so busy doing other things and ain't had time to work it in with our new guitar player yet. But
Got it, because I didn't remember that at the last live show I went to.
no, that's a really good song. One of my favorites.
Yeah, well, it's one of my favorites too, and that's a song that I'd like to add to regular rotation on the show. Um,
Please do.
oh,
Please do.
yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's I like the harmonization and the vote, just everything about that song. Like I said, for a lot of good reasons, that's a really good song. What'd you think of that one?
Oh, you were definitely hitting some notes like Lester was talking about, man, and I really felt that when I was hearing it. It's the first time I've heard it as well. I've seen you guys live a couple times, and you need to add that one. You got to start playing
Yeah,
that.
man. That's a great song, dude. I know it. A lot of people ask for it. There's a few of them that we're going to start throwing back on our repertoire that people have been asking for, even though it's older stuff. We want to bring it back just for the people, you know, and I love singing it, so might as well give them what they want.
Absolutely, and in the vocals, I believe there is a lost art to vocals lately. Contemporary music. It seemed like in the '70s with bands like, gosh, who am I thinking? Like Boston or
Mm-hmm.
Kansas or whatever. There was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
emphasis. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I think that helped me so much vocally. Like, thank God Stevie's a good singer, too, because me and him just work together so well. You know what I'm saying?
Now, is it just him doing backup vocals for you?
Stevie, yeah, he don't do no lead vocals. He just does backups. And Stoey does backups as well.
And Stowey's the new guitar player.
Yes, sir. Yes, he is, man. And, what a great thing for us to
And
have
what
that guy.
And what a
He's
great
monster.
guy! The first time I saw him at the festival it was the first time I ever seen him over there in the East Coast, and just a really nice guy too. You guys, we actually played a couple songs on that show, screwing around more like get on the stage and play some stuff, and then the headliners came on toward the end of the day, and you guys were one of the headliners for the show, but I had an opportunity to speak to Stoey before you guys went on, and he was just very helpful. Going on stage and doing what you guys do is not something that I ever do, and so probably what you felt literally 20 years ago, that kind of nervousness and getting in front of people and
I've
you
never
know.
done that. But let me tell you, Mike, not to cut you off, buddy, but you did great. I was very proud of you.
Well, thank you, Darren. I mean, that
And I
means a
mean
lot
that.
coming from someone like you. So,
I mean that, man. You did well, man. You held yourself well. You held your composure well. You really didn't look afraid. Sure,
well,
inside you were crapping your britches, but
I caught some things on video. That
Yeah,
beg to differ.
yeah, he's a pretty much to the level of being a professional cinematographer at this point, and
awesome.
I do remember him. He came out. He's the one who did the video. I was one of the video guys for the show that week, and then or for that day, and the Murderfly. Some of their videos that they have done for their music since then actually use footage from that day.
hmm
Yep.
You know that day I got heat stroke?
Yeah, that was a miserably hot day. Now, what do you mean you
I
got
had
heat stroke?
Yeah.
Did you get fluttery-eyed and pass out? I mean, what happened?
Well, I left right after the show. I did what I had to do. The show must go on, but I went home. I was sick for 2 days. I was throwing up. I couldn't eat all night long. I was pretty bad, yeah.
You looked good up there.
I held my composure the best I could, but it was rough.
Well, and it was hot for everybody out there. I think the thing with you, and anybody who's watching the show, if you get a chance to watch Who Was I, excellent show. But you put so much energy into what you do. You really do. You're running around. You're intermingling with the audience. Plus, just the way that you sing just requires so much energy to be able to produce that type of music. I just think that might have been too taxing for you on a day that hot. What do you think?
I think just go ahead and call me a freak because I know you're right.
You are definitely a freak, Darren, and anybody who knows you personally would absolutely agree. But you're a freak in a good way.
Hey, can I want to throw something out there? We're also going in January. We're going to L.A. for a week.
And in LA, what are you doing in LA?
We're going to the NAMM show out there. We're invited out there by our new manager, Toshi Asida, and Asida, sorry. And we're going to go out there and meet all the people. You know, we're endorsed by Crank now. We are on the Crank website. Stevie and still we are. We're officially endorsed. And we're going to go out there and shoot a 3D video with our producer and smooch with the big boys. Have a good time.
Wow, a 3D video, no less, huh?
Yes. Rick Johnson, who did our first CD, who produced it and also produced our video, Tragedy video. He's going to shoot a 3D video for us out there because he moved out there now. So.
Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing that. Now, when you're hanging out with the big boys, are you talking about big boys as far as other musicians or production companies or?
Both.
Well, now I'm jealous of you.
Our producer's been hanging out with Quincy Jones lately. To tell you something.
As in Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones.
As in, yes, sir.
Wow. You got to believe that guy's connected.
Oh yeah, I just want to go meet him and throw a product out there, and let more people see it, what we're about, man.
You know, it's funny.
We got a lot to offer the world, so.
On Michael Jackson, as I was reading the somewhat of a biography about him, and the song Billie Jean, he actually does the drums on that song, which, it's not a particularly difficult song to drum, but Quincy Jones did not like that song and did not want to put it on the Thriller album. That's the only thing I know about Quincy Jones. Since his name was invoked in the conversation, I had to bring that out, but he didn't want to put it on the Thriller album, and I can't even imagine a song on the Thriller album that's bigger than Billie Jean.
I was going to say his bad.
So what have we learned? We've learned that, some people will tell you something. You kind of got to stick to your gut every once in a while. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Sometimes I'll say no, but when you feel it, man, you feel it. You got to go with it.
Now, who are your
You can't be a puppet, brother.
You can't be a puppet.
Nope.
I absolutely agree. It reminds me of the song Limelight by Rush, put aside the emulation. But sometimes that's a difficult thing to do.
Yes.
And I think you guys have put aside the emulation in the sense that you play the harder edged metal type. So what do I want to say? Sort of the backbone of the song, but you also put in the intricate leads, and then the extremely dynamic vocals. And I think it's created a sound for your band that's very unique. I mean, there's really nobody out there who truly sounds like Who Was I? And that's, in this day and age, that's a very difficult thing to do.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, very good thing.
I think, Mike, because we also have always stuck to our roots, I've heard Jeff Tate. I'm such a fan of Fanatic and Stryper and all those big boys and Billy Joel and all that kind of singing style singers. And then once I heard Pantera, I just went, oh no, let's add this together and see what happens.
So kind of the fusion of Jeff Tate. It's interesting that a singer for a band such as yours would cite vocalists such as, Jeff Tate, who absolutely, without a doubt, is one of the best vocalists that ever lived. And then, Billy Joel. That's kind of interesting that
Elton John, absolutely, man.
Elton John. Now, I do remember you when you were younger. We grew up in the same area, Darren and I did, and I remember you being a young man and being able to sing Jeff Tate songs pretty much as good as, if not better than, Jeff Tate himself. Yeah.
Darren Tate, they called me. Remember that?
Darren?
I didn't like it, I think, back then, but I'm glad I got my own originality now. But thank God to him and vocal people like that.
Darren Tate, that would be the cross between Durwood and his boss, Mr. Tate.
Absolutely.
And some people call you Durwood. And Go ahead.
My friends' kids don't even know my real name, and I'm Darwood. If you call me Darren, I don't even answer half the time.
Well, then maybe you should just put that on the album cover then. Just, concede to your fate and be Durwood for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Hey, Who Was I's new album also is entitled What I've Become, which I said again, it'll be out in January. And very, very, it's a little different from the first CD, but tasty, and you can tell we've grown as musicians. We finally found the sound we were looking for.
Well, do me a favor, Darren. Since I've known you for a while, let me debut at least one of the songs off the new album on this show. Okay.
Right on. You got it, man.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I have a recording of you saying that now, so you're locked in.
Okay. Okay, I'm locked in, brother. Everybody hears that, right? You got it.
All right. I want to play another one of your songs. I'm going to play the song "Soar." Is there anything you want to
Okay.
tell me about that song?
Ooh. Not really. That just came out. Me and Steve were at a party. I was having a kids' party at my house for my son, and he brought a guitar over and had this group going on. And I just started laughing in the beginning of it, as you'll hear in the song. It's kind of a demonic laugh. And we just felt the song and just started going with it, man, and just jotted down some things. There's really not much of a meaning to it. You take whatever meaning you want to it.
But is it
I have
soar
meaning to a
as
lot of
in?
songs, but that one I don't.
Is it soar as in flying, or soar as in needing to put ice on your junk after a night at the bathhouse?
I'm thinking both.
Wow. Yeah.
Take what you want out of
Well,
it, brother.
you rock star guys probably had an actual night like that at some point in time, right?
More than once.
Oh, jeez. Well, tell me about that. Tell me about that later. I have to live vicariously through my guests, so it's
That's
very
the X-rated version.
yes. The Lester's tour bus X-rated. We'll have to work out the details on that. So. All right, this is Who Was I Soar. Hello, Darren.
Hey, buddy. What do you think?
I got to tell you, Darren. You know, I'm listening to that song, and you just mentioned that that was impromptu at a child's party. That I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight, bud.
Yeah, that was the whole thing right there. I'm telling you, that laugh.
Let me ask you a question. How do you singing this music from night to night? How do you take care of your throat?
I really don't smoke cigarettes. I take vitamins. I'm pretty healthy. You know, I work out with my kids, playing ball a lot. And the more you sing, your voice is like a muscle. Your throat's like a muscle, just like anything else. It gets in shape, and you're good at that. And you sing right. You know, I don't overdo it. I don't hurt myself. I just take care of myself.
So you don't stay raspy for a couple days after doing a show?
No. I've got 3 shows coming up in a row. You know, plus we'll have a cover band I do as well to make some extra money to pay for my original band.
And your cover band
the Good Old Boys. So we do 40 songs a night, 3-4 nights in a row.
Wow.
And Who Was I?
You're the hardest working guy in music.
Yeah, so I'm doing everything from ZZ Top to Godsmack, then Who Was I?
Now the Good Old Boys. Where did the name the Good Old Boys come from? Because I have an idea.
Okay. Well, it really pretty much just came up from we're always in freaking camis and wearing our damn hats all the time, looking like a bunch of rednecks. And we just said, you know what? We're heavy. Our music, we're doing ZZ Top music, Bad Company, stuff like that, and we're a little heavier anyways. We said, let's call ourselves the Good Old Boys and freak everybody out.
Well, you remember the movie The Blues Brothers, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure you had to have heard this before. But the band that the Blues Brothers was standing in for when they sang the time-honored classic, the theme to Rawhide and Stand By Your Man, was the Good Old Boys.
I did not know that. Now that you said it, I do now.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then at the end, they
didn't
get their money, so they chased them down to beat the hell out of them, you know, that sort of thing. You know the kind of things rednecks do, huh?
Yeah, it's like us, but it's opposite. We'll just chase them down and beat the hell out of them.
Exactly. So I didn't know if it was a Blues Brothers reference or not, but which would have been really cool, but you said it wasn't, so I guess that's not as cool as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's really neat, Mike, though. We open up for ourselves. We don't have to hire no other bands, you know, we open up for ourselves.
Who else did that? Do you remember Gwar?
Yeah.
They had a band called Bad Cop, and they all came out. Now, I actually knew Gwar back in Virginia, and every time they used to come to Melbourne, I used to go backstage and hang out with them. David, who's odorous, and Mike, who's the guitarist. I don't know if they're the original members, but definitely the founding members of Gwar. But they actually come from Virginia. I was in Virginia 3 years. Anyways, that was funny as hell. That they promoted the hell out of this, you know, opening band, and it's like, you know, these guys are up and comers, they're kick ass, blah blah blah. It's actually them, and they traded instruments. Do you guys do the same thing?
I play drums. Aaron will get up and kind of sit aside, but I'll get up and play drums. But
what?
Stevie don't play guitar. He plays guitar in Who Was I, but in Good Old Boys, Stevie plays bass, and Roach sits out until Who Was I comes on.
And Roach sits out, and some of the songs you play drums on.
Yeah, mainly The Trooper from Iron Maiden. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good song to drum.
That was the first one I ever learned back in the day.
So did you aspire to be a drummer when you were younger?
Nope.
No, you always wanted to be a singer.
Yep. Drum's just natural to me.
Well, sure. And it seems like if you spent as much time as you've spent in warehouses and studios and rehearsal spaces and that sort of thing, I've got to believe you have a certain amount of ability on everything at this point, right?
Yeah, I play a little guitar, I play a little keyboard, I play a little everything, but drums mainly and vocals.
Right. And so how are you doing on Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover?
Oh, yeah, I'm killing it. You know that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, right. I could play the beginnings of 50 songs on the guitar.
Yeah, well, next time I see the Good Old Boys, I'm going to make that request. So I want to see that, all right?
Okay, we're on. Still, we can do it.
Oh, I have
For real.
Can he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. And again, just a really nice guy. Where the heck did you guys find that guy?
Oh, my gosh. Like I said, he moved down here from New York years ago when Onyx Drive broke up. I took off for a couple of years to Vegas back home and tried to get a new band out there. And he moved in and Chokehold formed with Stevie, Aaron, and Shane playing bass, and they found Stelly vocally. And he was their singer. And then still he moved away for a few years and came back after Who Was I was already together, and we joined him in the band. And he can play anything. He plays bass, guitar. He's just a talented man.
I remember Chuckhold. I love that band.
Great band.
I only saw him one time. I saw him at the Hustler over on the beach. It was sort of a beach venue over there.
I was there. Didn't I play?
I'm trying to remember if you played or not. Were you singing for Chokehold at the time?
I was singing for Kane.
And was that another Steve Harvey band?
Nope, that was me, Mop, playing drums, Jay Grimes on guitar, and Danny from Prophecy ZX. Great band.
Oh, I didn't know you played with Dan at some point.
He played bass, yep.
Yeah, that's another really good guitar player. Sort of a
great guy, great talent.
Yep. He and what I like about him is he shows a lot of support for the other bands. As far as we had a festival. They'll have these the Wild Man Entertainment festivals over here, but sort of a several bands, and they're usually really good bands, and the people that come out, especially the first one that he had done. I mean, it was not just the entire bar packed, but everybody in the parking lot packed. But my point is that he will travel great distances. He's a very huge supporter of Florida music, and I really like that about him. He'll travel these, huge distances to go see his friends at different bands go play all around the state.
Right.
Yeah, and he was
he's a good dude, man. I see him yesterday, as a matter of fact. He was at the stoplight honking his horn, yelling at me.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. And then every once in a while, their band Prophecy Z14, just looking on Facebook or just walking around, being around people who like metal music. Every once in a while, you'll see that Prophecy Z14 shirt.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I guess he's got a lot of support as well. It seems like you really know.
Yes, he does.
It seems like you really know everybody on the scene at this point, right?
Oh my gosh, sure I do. I've been playing forever,
Yep.
It's about time that I finally see. We finally see a light at the end of our tunnel, which is very cool.
Well, I mean, it's a long tunnel. It's a tough road. I mean, you've definitely paid your dues, and I think you've reached just a sheer raw ability, not only in just sheer raw talent with the instruments themselves, but in your ability to write has matured. And you guys
absolutely.
So who would you say some of the stronger band influences are?
Stronger original? I mean, like signed band or just like local bands?
Just who is it that you would listen to? Who might I find in your CD player at this point?
Dude, right now, honest to gosh, in my car, I've got James Taylor in my car.
Okay, this conversation's over.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Hey, girl, gather
and after that,
around.
I'll put in Skin Dread. Or I'll put in whoever. I just I don't listen to the heavy stuff a lot anymore. I play it all the time. I sing it live on stage, and I just like a lot of more melodic music, and just it teaches me more. I can add more to what we're doing in our new stuff, and add the roars and the screams and the cool vocals, and so I just listen to everybody.
Could you do that one more time? Now do me a favor. Use that voice and say Lester's Tour Bus.
Let's do what?
I said say that one more time in that voice and say Lester's Tour Bus.
Lester's Tour Bus.
Very nice.
That's a good soundbite. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so tell me one of the crazier Who Was I stories.
Oh dude.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Well,
I should have probably asked this question.
Yeah, you
earlier.
did put me on the spot because we had a million of them.
Yeah.
It don't even necessarily have to do with Who Is I. Just us together, us as people together. We're just a bunch of creeps, a bunch of kooks, man. I mean, you can't one day fight. You'll probably see me standing at a bar somewhere, jumping around like a nutcase, and Stevie in another corner on top of some other bar, messing with 15 other people. You never know what happens with us, dude.
Okay, well, I'll start it for you. We were drunk and we were at this hotel, and this chick walked up to us.
Okay, tell you what, I got a good one. We were drunk at it. We were playing the Coliseum in Daytona. It was us, Rising Up Angry, and some of the guys from Scrape. And we came out there. I think it was some guys from Scrape, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't want to call you back going, you're a freaking liar. But never forget it. I get there, we get done with the show, and first thing that happens is we get in the motel room and some of our friends are there. Well, Stevie is already wasted. He's naked in the hallway in the motel room, and all of us are sitting there, and girls, everybody. He goes up to punch somebody and misses and punches the door, breaks his finger, and he's got to play on stage still.
Yeah.
Well, we do the show, get off stage. I'm looking for Stevie. He's downstairs in the parking lot in his underwear with his pants pulled down to his knees. Where I commenced to take his shoes and throw them on the roof.
Well, of course, that's the natural thing you would do at that point.
Yeah, that was very nice of you.
That was great. Well, you know, he's an ass, so he's out there screaming. Well, you know, next thing you know, there's cops all around us. I'm about to go to jail. Well, then we had a belt fight. They left. We had a belt fight.
As in the belt for your pants. You took the belt out of your pants and started beating each other with them?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, I had a belt fight. And then, everything's pretty violent sometimes with us. Commenced to destroying the motel room. Aaron broke my pinky toe. They wrote my face in the ground.
Oh, my
Chips
God.
everywhere.
So was this a bonding? Was this a
hallways.
male bonding experience?
It was crazy. Chicks sleeping in the hallways outside.
So you crazy rock and roll guys.
Yeah, and that's just, it happens a lot, though, man. It's got to stop. I need intervention from my band.
Just kind of all sit around and talk about your feelings like, what the hell was that?
Hug or something.
Some kind of
man.
monster.
Just hold me, man.
Did you see Some Kind of Monster, Metallica, Some Kind of Monster?
Yes, I did.
It was disgusting.
It was gross.
They're all talking about, their feelings and, but it was an intervention. I mean, maybe it was therapeutic, but I liked their old bass player. What the hell is his name?
Jason?
Yeah, Jason Newsted. And he's just like, basically like, you see why I left the band? I mean, it's like, geez.
Yeah. Pull your panties up.
Yeah, pull your panties up. That's right. Let's get in a belt fight.
Yeah, I'm sure they had plenty of naked belt fights back before that happened.
Yeah, no, they're too serious to me.
I've never had a naked belt fight before.
Don't do it.
Really? Because that was something I was thinking about. I'm trying to sort of taste all the different parts of the stew of life. And
Your fucking list, Mike. You know what? Let me be there first. Let me hit you with the belt first naked.
You know what? Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to be there for that one, guys.
This is great.
Do you remember Thomas Curtis?
Thomas Curtis?
The guy who did the videotaping at the Bozfest show last year?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's who I have in the studio now. He's actually becoming quite accomplished himself in a different way. He's doing, he's a student at UCF. He's studying in the same program the guys that did Blair Witch Project, the program they were in. And then he's a student at another studio.
Truthful Acting Studios.
Truthful Acting Studios in Brevard County, but he's been doing...
It's in Orange County.
Oh, is it in Orange County?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
It's in Orlando.
It's in Orlando. So he's working in the studio there. I apologize. I should probably ask these questions before opening my big mouth.
Very cool, man.
But he's doing, bit parts. He's been doing stage work, and he's been doing bit parts in these short movies that one of them won several awards, right?
Yeah, I did do some things in Brevard County. There's a group together called the Space Coast Film and Talent Group that I was a part of. And we did a short film called Pizza, which I spent 12 years as a manager of a pizza store, and it's a parody from the show Cops. And we won Best Comedy at the Melbourne Independent Film Festival last month.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, that was an exciting time for me.
Yeah.
Do you know Rick Johnson by any chance?
Rick? No, I don't believe it.
I have absolutely heard that name before. When you mentioned it, the first.
He's our producer. He had a lot to do with. He does a lot of things with Trip Rupert as well as what you're doing with the International Film Festival Awards and stuff. So that's very, very cool, man.
Yeah. And I like it. I'm just, getting all these people together, these self-motivated people who are out there making things happen, I find, for whatever reason, I've surrounded myself in life with people who have all these great dreams and things they're going to do, and they just never do it. And there's, I'm kind of surrounding myself now with people who are the ones that are going to make that, that effort to go out and make something happen. And you're definitely one of those people, Darren, and Thomas is one of those people. And it makes me feel good about, people who are sort of self-realized and motivated and go out there and, sort of change the culture.
Well, let me tell you what I do and what we all do, like Stevie and the people in our band and Aaron and as far as Tom, too. I'm glad he's got his mojo back. I'm so proud of him and Thomas Bosworth. I'm proud of you, brother. I love you. Always will. Anyways, I've had a dream forever, dude. And I've given up a basketball scholarship. I gave up a baseball scholarship to do what I do, which is party and sing. And here I am at a certain age, still with a home and a couple kids now, and I'm just now making it. But you know what? I never quit. I couldn't quit. I can't quit. It's in my heart. I can't stop. It's just all there is to it, no matter what. Even if I don't make it, I can look back and go, what I've done in my music career and the people I've met, like you and just everybody, I'd be totally satisfied.
Yeah, well, you're in the best position you've ever been in your life right now.
Absolutely.
So we'll just see how it, all falls
Pans out.
Yeah, all pans out in the end. And the truth is, if you can keep that attitude, you keep driving, you do your best, and which is really, really good. And, if you can be happy no matter what happens. I mean, sometimes it's not getting to the destination. Sometimes, what do they say? Sometimes it's the ride there. And if you can enjoy the ride there, then if you get hit by a truck tomorrow, you've still had a good life,
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's one thing talk about on anything, people is religion and politics. But you know what? God is the one that does it for me.
And he is a Republican.
And my boys in my band, and I think everybody. Things happen for a reason.
Yep.
That's just my belief. Nobody else's. That's just me.
Hey, no, that's a beautiful thing. Faith is an important thing. And regardless of what it is that you believe, just believing that there's something greater than yourself. Just be it the God, yep, or the common destiny of man, whatever. But not making the world centered around you.
To all the kids, I'll tell you what. To all the kids, whoever listens to this thing, don't quit. Don't quit. Keep in school. You ain't got to quit school. You ain't got to quit and be a bum to play music. Just write. Like a good basketball player, any jock or anything, they got to work 24 hours a day. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. No matter who tells you what, keep freaking going. Because it'll pan out for you in the end. Something will. Something good will happen.
So saith the naked man with the belt.
Absolutely. See you there? I got logical on you, dude.
Well, no, that's actually good advice. I mean, I do feel that people, get discouraged. And
he's absolutely right, Lester. I mean, it takes a certain type of individual that like Rob and Marco tell me over at Truthful Act, if you can see yourself doing anything else, go do that. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's it. I mean, when you see this is all you want to do, and like you said, you gave up the basketball scholarships, the baseball scholarship, and this is what you do, and you're doing it well, man. And that's what you got to do.
Well, that's a good point. And I've never heard that line before. Could you ever visualize yourself as a professional baseball player?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Growing up as a kid, my whole life, I had people, scouts looking at me when I was in the 10th grade. I just excelled at, God gave me two talents. I mean, but God gave me a lot of talent, but what I excelled in was sports and music, entertaining people.
Well, that's because you're such a svelte, physically fit guy.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
And how is it that you're crossing the you said you've been playing 20 years, so people are going to surmise you're somewhere on the 40 line. How is it that you've managed to stay in such great shape? Because I'm somewhere on the 40 line myself. And I have failed miserably.
Good genetics, brother.
You know what? That means that I was at a disadvantage from the start.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Lester.
You
got the Charles Atlas seal of approval.
I have the Charles Atlas seal of approval. So saith Frankfurt. Oh.
I take care of myself as I'm drinking in an ice house watching football, talking to you.
I have something for you later, by the way. That a girl sent me. All right, tell me about this. We're gonna play a girl
sent him. Oh.
Tell me about this. I got one more Who Was I song, and I'm gonna actually get your entire catalog and start playing it on the show. I do what I try to do every week is not run my gums because nobody wants to sit here and listen to me, not even me. So I try to play Florida music. I don't know if you know that sort of the theme behind the show, but it's a completely Florida-centered music show. And, well, as of right now, the reason I took this time slot from 3:30 to 5:30 is because everybody's barbecuing. They're out at the park. They're doing their thing. And so I want to make it this one show where you can click it on and you can listen to all your buddies, all the Florida bands, people you've heard before, people you know, or maybe people you haven't heard. You know, and somebody like you or somebody who's kind of bigger in the state like you guys, you know, you might hear a band on the Lester's tour bus and say, you know, these guys are pretty good. Want to learn more about them and maybe bring them into the fold. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what we're all about. You know, we did that to Murderfly. They're our brothers, man. They're our brothers. We love those guys to death. Great band. But when we first met them, they were kind of like, they didn't have a father. They didn't really know nobody. So not to say be rude, they didn't ride our coattail, but they just kind of, we pulled them in every show we did. And all of a sudden they took off in their own entity. And now when they have shows in their town, we open up for them. When they play here, they open up for us. So it's vice versa. We're brothers with each other. Give each other props, man. They've just did great things in themselves now. So you got to help each other out.
Yeah, and I don't want to run into the ground. I talked about them quite a bit last week, and they've actually been on this show before too.
Right.
But just like you guys, just really great guys, really approachable, and you know, just fun to hang out with. You know, it seems, and I talked about this on the show, and I'm not trying to take all your time today, but a few shows back, me and my normal co-host Buddy Zappa, we were talking about back in the late 80s, early 90s, there's been a big cultural shift. You know, back then, you know, the bands, everybody's, I don't even know, wearing lipstick and got big hair, and it was just like this, like douche fest, you know, and they were just these, you know, very egocentric, very competitive, almost like the way, you know, a lot of women are toward one another, but these are like band members, that sort of thing. And
Great analogy. I was part of that. I know.
Yeah, and today it's just so different. You know, I went and did the domestic thing, and I just went off the scene for a long time. You know, that back in the day, and you know, I was always involved in music. I played drums back then, and then you know, had a couple kids and kind of did the work thing, the college thing, and then realized I was pretty freaking bored sitting at home all the time. So I got back out into music, and it was completely different. Completely. I mean, there's just not a shred of the way things used to be, and everybody is, yeah, thank God.
Exactly.
That is no lie. Everybody's just so nice and helpful to one another, and you just feel the love. You know, you go out there, and it's like, you know, and I'm to the point now. I do not listen to the regular radio at all. I mean, honestly, there's absolutely no point whatsoever to listen to the same Nickelback song 400 freaking times. There's just none.
Yeah.
And they're a good band and all, but I mean, there is so much excellent local music. I mean, excellent.
You just talk bad about a band on air.
You could say whatever you want on this
That's
station.
it. You're fired, brother.
Well, he did say they're a good band.
Is Nickelback from Florida?
I don't know.
No,
I
they're
don't know.
not.
I'm not sure.
Are they even from the U.S.?
Are they? They're not.
Yeah, they're from the U.S. Dude.
So I'll-
Yeah,
No, they're from Canada.
Are they from Canada?
They're from Canada.
I
they
did
from
not
Canada?
know.
Yeah.
See, they're not even American, for God's
Exactly.
sakes.
Nope, that's
They
right.
might as well
That's
be
from Canada.
Russian.
You got your co-host there with all the answers, dude.
That is true. It's kind of sad, isn't it? I bring the actor guy in, and he has all the rock. He's the rock encyclopedia.
You got to have it, though. You got to have a co-driver, brother.
I do what I do.
Yeah. All right. So I
What
do
song
want
you
to.
gonna play?
I'm going to play "Vanishing Memory."
Great song.
And what are we going to say about this one? What's this
That's
one
the
about?
first song me and Stevie ever wrote.
No kidding.
Actually, he already wrote it when we got the band together. He already had the music, the guitar to it. Nobody else in the band. Mark Tillman was our drummer back then before Aaron.
I remember Mark
As you know,
Tillman
Mark
too.
Tillman, great drummer.
Oh yeah, excellent. He used to play with Jay Grimes. I forgot the name of their band, but
Yep, and Ed was our bass player at the time. And Stevie pulled me in and goes, dude, here's this music. And all of a sudden I just started blurting out some, and it just worked. And the song, I wrote the word lyrics, and it's about the government pretty much, how they're taking people out of your families and putting them in the war and just lying to you, man. And it's all about it's all vanishing memory anyways, you know, basically. It's just all about the government, how much they lie to you. And the bull crap and taking you away from your family and your home and your friends and fill your head with lies.
so you opposed to having a standing military?
No, not at all. But I don't believe that, you know, how they just fill your head with the government. The government, not necessarily military, but government. They tell you what you want to hear for the most part. And that's what I believe.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to that.
Yes,
I'm
there is.
I'm not one of those people that demonizes everybody in the government. I think there's a lot of people in there that are trying to help, but I think that there's a lot of people in there. It's all about a consolidation of power and bringing power unto themselves, and they're going to say and do whatever they have to do to meet that end. So
Right. Well, this sounds like I'm an old guy, but I wasn't even born with the Vietnam thing going on. But this is actually about the drafts, back in the day when they would take you away out of your homes and just throw you out there.
stick in a freaking jungle to get shot at.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
what this song came about.
All right. This is Who Was I's first song ever, Vanishing Memory.
Rock.
Thank
Hello.
Well, that song that had a lot of energy to it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites right there. It's just a very, very energetic song.
It was so angry.
Yeah. I was pissed off right now.
I kind of feel bad for you in that one. I mean, I just want to kind of give you a hug.
Right? After that, I need one.
I'm not going to lie to you, Darren.
Did you get the meaning, though?
Yeah, I did. You know, I may not, and I appreciate you, like, you know, kind of letting me know ahead of time what was going on. Because if I just heard you filling me up with lies, I would automatically think of a woman. I don't know why. I would gravitate that way. You know, not that, you know, I haven't been burned by a string of them in my life, but
yeah,
you know,
we all have, Lester.
Those are my own demons I have to bear.
We're not going to cry, so let's just not do this.
I might.
We got to change the subject. I'm tearing
too
up
angry of a song.
I might cry. I need more Who Was I songs. That's all I have, Darren. That's all you guys sent me.
Hey, bro, hug him right now. He needs a hug.
I do.
Give Mike a hug.
Okay.
Let's
hug
get the fuck away from. What the hell? Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
That's okay.
He liked
you
that.
Touch with yourself.
No, I think he did like that actually.
No, I did like that.
Everybody wants to hug the teddy bear. Everybody.
He'll give you a half hour to stop that.
Everybody, a half hour. What's happening in a half
hour to stop that?
Well, sir. Is there
sir.
anything else you want to say before we terminate this conversation until you get me that new album and I can bring you back on and pimp it?
Well, not really. Just go check out Who Was I, the band, and you'll dig it. And Mike, I thank you and your brother over there. I'm sorry. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
It's Thomas.
Thomas. That's right.
Yeah.
My bad.
No
Anyways,
problem, Jared.
guys, I wish you the best luck on this this radio thing right here, and I appreciate you talking to me for a while and playing our music out there and getting it out to the fans. And we will see you soon because
Now, when are you playing the West Coast again?
That's all right. We're coming out. That's what I'm getting to here. As soon as our CD's done and we come back from January from L.A., we're going to start spreading our wings with Who Was I, not as much as the Good Old Boys no more, just concentrating on our original stuff.
Right.
And we'll be playing out in your area.
So you don't have a show yet for out here, but it will be after the beginning of the year.
We're booked up to the end of December right now, literally. I'm playing tomorrow at Lou's Blues. We got, I'm booked majorly up until we leave.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to the new album, and we'll look forward to seeing you sometime early next year. And I appreciate you coming on the show, Darren.
Thanks, man. Have a great day, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks, Darren.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I just want to make quick mention now that we heard a couple songs from Who Was I. I was at the Boss Fest this past year, and I had a chance to do some videography for the show. And these guys were great live. I just want to say, if you guys haven't been out to check out these guys, make sure you get out there and check out Who Was I.
Yep. And hopefully this year, when they do the Boss Fest in Melbourne again, Who Was I and Murderfly played at the same time. And if you get a chance just to see both of those bands, they're different from one another, but both of them are really, really good. And I appreciate Darren, talking about the radio station that we're on. The Rock Slam Radio is part of the Entertainment Global Media Empire, and it's the largest internet radio presence on the West Coast, and it is one of the fastest growing internet radio stations in the country. And of course, the belief here is that everything over time will go to internet radio. A lot of people are, involved with Sirius Radio, satellite radio, and of course, the hope is that eventually this show, which has grown very, very fast under the Rock Slam Radio banner, will move to Sirius Radio, and then we'll get a wider presence, and we'll have greater representation of Florida music. The show today is brought to you by Susu Salon, and their phone number is 786-760-6218. So if you need to go for some relaxation and a massage and a mud bath or whatever the heck they do at a salon, I've never been to one. I would like to go to one, except for at some point they make you, basically get naked and wear a towel.
Can we go get a mud bath after the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
And my alabaster white cellulite gleaming under the fluorescent lights isn't something I want to see, let alone will I subject anyone to it. Which goes back to my food stamp argument. My 4-to-1 weight to IQ ratio thing. Now, I'm not a thin person, granted, but
That's very obvious.
I paid for.
I'm sorry. That was wrong.
I paid for every ounce of cellulite on this body. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyways,
You paid a premium, Lester.
so you start. Yeah, I did. I paid the premiums. You were talking about pizza. Now, I actually saw this film. It's ridiculous.
What do you mean?
It's ridiculous. Okay, the idea of this movie Pizza is it's like the show Cops.
Yes.
And so but they're pizza delivery drivers, and they run into these snafus with different situations that a pizza delivery driver might actually run into. However, the way they deal with it is, along the level of organization and brutality in the way that a police officer might deal with the situation. For example, somebody who doesn't tip a driver might get the tar kicked out of them, handcuffed, beaten,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, we kind of went the direction of, like I said, I worked in pizza for 12 years, and we just kind of got together and what would you really want to do? Rather than just thanking them and walking away with a shame face, we took action in this film. And hopefully, hopefully a lot of pizza customers, especially the lousy tipper types, see this and they realize that, we are people too,
So you've sort of taken up the cause
Oh, absolutely.
for improved customer responsiveness to people who work in the pizza delivery industry.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you learn a lot of lessons working in the pizza industry, especially for 12 years, and you learn that the customer's always right,
Now,
except when they're wrong.
Now, did you get this part because you worked in the pizza industry while you were up and coming, or did that?
To be honest, I got this part because I begged Greg St. Pierre, the director of pizza. I was like, please just put me in it. Please, Greg, please. No, the film group got together, and Phil Lister came up with this concept, and Greg St. Pierre wrote this script. And he and I talked about it, and he used me as a technical advisor for different things. Different experiences that I've had and certain logistics of pizza delivery, and he kind of put it together.
Ah.
And it was
Now,
a lot of fun.
did you have to do anything that you might be ashamed of later to get the part?
Well,
Did
not
St. Pierre-
that I'd be ashamed of later so much as I'd be ashamed of now.
Yeah. Well, it's like Susan Sarandon. And before we get lost on that point, I have something I want to play for you.
You
But
wait just a second here.
Susan Sarandon, she was in. She's done lots and lots of movies, but
Yeah, she was in Heartbreakers
she
with
was in-
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And what else was she in?
She's in a lot of good things. When she was much older, later on in her career,
And she was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, wasn't she?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, she recently discussed the fact that she basically did all sorts of shameful things on casting couches back in the day to get where she is. And the fact that somebody that big would come out and be that candid about that sort of thing. But do you believe to this day there's casting couches out there? And when you get your production company started, will there be a casting couch in the,
Well, I'm definitely not here to paint myself in a negative light or anything, but I've experienced some casting couches.
Now, did you ever play receiver?
Well, I don't know where you're taking this. I mean, it's just it's a thing where you do auditions on. That's all.
Okay, hold on. I've got an email here. This is from a girl. Now, let me ask you, as far as Rocky Horror, are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, a matter of fact, the same Playhouse, Cocoa in Cocoa Beach, Surfside Playhouse, they did a Rocky Horror Picture Show last year, and I started out as the spotlight op for it. So I have some experience.
Okay. Have you ever been to Sacramento, California?
No.
Oh, Thomas, you're trying to avoid it. That's freaking hilarious. Thomas Curtis, who is going to deny this, he used to play back, God, a long time ago, 5 or 6 years ago. He did the,
Listen, before we continue, I have never been to California, okay? I've never even been out of Florida.
yeah. So I'll let people listen to it, and then they can decide for themselves.
Hold on, listen to what?
He did what's his name? Frankenfurter. The guy with the oh, and by the way, if you go to his house right now, he actually has the huge pearl necklace and the wig for Frankenfurter. So he's gonna deny this, but he's a liar. But they did a big thing at the there used to be a place out there called the Garbo House, and it was actually a really cool place. They did they would do plays, and you could go there and have dinner, and it was like these professional plays. Well, one year for some sort of anniversary or something, they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Thomas was still starting back then, and he did the part of Frankfurter, and it is the funniest damn video I've ever seen.
I don't know where you're getting this information from, Lester. I gotta be honest with you. I've never been to Sacramento.
He's being coy, but I knew about that, and so a friend of his, I was talking to her about it, and I told her that he was going to come on the show and he was going to talk about Florida acting scene, and she's like, she had a recording of the video and she sent it to me, and I have a recording of Thomas doing the Sweet Transvestite song.
The sweet what?
The Sweet Transvestite song. Anyways, all right, we'll listen to it and you can tell me at the end whether it's actually you or not, okay? All right, here we go.
How you do? See, you've met me, faithful dandy. It's just a little brought down because when you were not, he thought you were the candy. Don't get strung out by the way I look. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm not much of a man by the light of day, but by night I'm one hell of a lover. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. So let me show you around, maybe throw you aside. You look like you're both pretty good. Or if you want something visual, it's not too busy. You're taking an old Steve Riggs.
Now, hold on a sec. Now, is it your suggestion here that that's not you?
I've never heard that song in my life.
You were just singing the whole thing.
I was doing what?
You were singing it. It sounded exactly like you. Hopefully the mics were on when the song was playing and they can hear that it was actually you. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm not even playing this game anymore.
Okay.
Why are you ashamed of being Frankfurter?
Well, first of all, I just want to point out that was a very standout performance that I just heard, and if that was me,
it didn't sound bad. I'm not going to
I
lie.
would never be ashamed of that.
You'll never be ashamed of that.
I would never be. It wasn't me, but okay, it was me.
It was you.
It was me. It was the Bardos or the Garbo's dinner theater out in Sacramento. It was about 5 years ago. But I heard they closed down though, and it was very.
Oh, that
depressing,
sucks. I hope that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of California, but in all reality, they have a lot of great venues out there.
It was very unfortunate circumstances that brought me out there, and I just kind of made the best of a wild weekend, really.
So are you still doing do you still have any association with Rocky Horror anymore?
Not really. I mean, I would like to. I kind of had too much going on to go for the Surfside Playhouse that just finished up their last show this past weekend, last night actually. But yeah, I just didn't have time for this year. But next year, I definitely would like to go out and try to reclaim my spot as Frankenfurter. It was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had. You know.
Yep.
And not that I like to dress like that or anything, but it was a good time.
So, and didn't you kind of changing the subject, which needs to be changed? Did you do the? You also did some. I know you tried out for a part here, for a pretty big production film, and then you did. what the heck was that called? I took you there.
Oh, for Fury
Fury
from the Brothers McCarthy.
Brothers McCarthy. What have you heard about that?
Well, those guys are insane, and they're very talented guys. And they offered me a small part. It just the logistics didn't work out, and I wasn't able to make it there for the shoot. It was just a couple days they needed me, and something else came up. But I think they did fine without me on this one, and I can't wait to see it. And it should be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely one to check out. And like he said, those guys are crazy. And I looked at I think on YouTube you can actually see the promo for the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you also did filming for a part in Clearwater as well, right?
I did. A guy named Nick Naylor put together a movie called Pawns, and it was kind of along the lines of the pizza thing, where it's just a group of guys in a pawn shop that just kind of get tired of people's crap. And I had a small part in that one, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Rod Grant. He's got another movie that just came out, Mr. Engagement, that premiered over at the Movico theater.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's got a nice little following going on. And these guys, they're up and coming, and they're in this area. So I mean, it's just like so many opportunities for acting and filmmaking around here that I urge anybody that has any interest in it to go to auditions and see how it impacts you.
Yeah, well, you've had a lot of good luck. I haven't heard, as far as doing the casting calls and stuff. I mean, you pretty much show up and because you've been doing it a while and you are very good at what you do. You've had a lot of good luck as far as responding to those ads and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, there's definitely the other side of that too, and it's what one of the big things that scares people off is they're very self-conscious and they're afraid of rejection. Now, I just don't tell you about the other 50 that I went to that I didn't get a part in. I just tell you about the good stuff.
Ah, that's true. So, are you keeping busy? What are you working on right now?
Right now, actually, I mean, I'm very busy with film school over at UCF. Some of these guys, they really give you a big load. And
I'm not sure how to take that.
and it keeps me really busy. And then Rob and Marco, these guys, I mean, they have me working every week to keep up with class. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of dedication, and I've kind of put trying out for parts and all that on the back burner. Although,
so you're working purely on theory right now?
Well, no. I mean, I have little things that I'm doing here and there. Me and another classmate of mine that was in pizza, Madison Conradis, we did a skit for a collection of short comedy sketches that are going to be put together on a single 2-hour production that should be coming out early next year. So, I mean, I'm doing little things here and there, but I'm just not real proactive in the search right now. I'm focusing more on getting the film degree and getting the nuts and bolts tightened.
Okay, now under a more generalized view, what can you say about the Florida the movie and theater scene in Florida right now? Do you think it's I guess competitive with other regions of the country?
Oh, absolutely. For example, Orlando is third in the country for commercial actors, for commercial filming, and I mean, LA and New York are obviously at the tops of that. But I mean, even South Florida, for example, has several huge network TV shows that are looking for actors constantly. Burn Notice, Magic City, all these shows. Graceland is coming to Fort Lauderdale area, and it's one of the largest areas, Orlando and Tampa area a lot too, for independent filmmaking. I mean, we got all kinds of film schools in the area, University of Tampa, UCF, Full Sail, and there's a lot of student films being made and a lot of good ones. I have 2 instructors at UCF that were film students there that made very good films. Andrew Gay, he has a film called Beautiful Belly that has won several awards at various film festivals. And Max Rousseau is another guy, and he kind of works within Truthful Acting. He's gotten some information from them about casting actors and things like that, and put together a real nice presentation. And he's got a film coming out very soon called Pembroke Circle. And the lead in that is in our Truthful Acting Studios class with me right now, and she's very talented, Sarah.
Sarah what?
I can't pronounce her last name. I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah, very talented. We'll say.
Sarah, very talented.
Absolutely. If you friend me on Facebook, it's Thomas Curtis, and I believe she's the only Sarah on there, and she's part of the Truthful Acting Studios.
And that's Curtis with two S's.
Two S's.
It's an unusual spelling of the last name.
Yeah.
And then, so now, are you more interested in the feature film type stuff? Well, I guess you're working in more the films that go to, to awards and that sort of thing. I mean, I really don't know how the business works, to tell you the truth. Or are you more interested in getting involved with television, like in Orlando and that sort of thing?
Well, my main interest is really in character development and character acting. So I definitely like the independent films. That's the kind of direction I'm going with it. And I love working with these students. And there's a lot of inspiration there. And a lot of these guys are going to make a name for themselves. And hopefully it all happens in Florida.
I hope it does. Now, when you're developing a character, you say character development. Is that something that you have to think about, like the way this person would think, the way this person would talk? And do you sit around and behave like that person? I've heard of other actors doing that sort of thing.
That kind of branches into a different type of acting than what we're doing. What we do is we take truthful elements and we wrap them in imaginary circumstances. So we're not actually portraying a character or doing these things. What we're doing is we're involving ourselves truthfully, and within the circumstance, we're living truthfully. We're not acting, and that's kind of the direction. And it's a hard...
I got it. So you create this imaginary circumstance, and then you're basically like yourself.
Yes.
In that imaginary circumstance.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
That is.
And so you just have to convince yourself the circumstance is real, and your responses would come out organically, right?
Organically, yes. That's kind of the direction that the Meisner approach takes. Is all organic, and it's whatever happens in the moment. It's to you live in the moment under these imaginary circumstances, but you live truthfully. And if you don't go away from that, you'll have some pretty strong performances.
Well, let me ask you now. Like in my case, let's say you're doing a film on male strippers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would be required to behave as I would if I was in the situation where I was a male stripper.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So I would, run, hide?
Well, see, for you, it'd be a little different because when you've actually done these things like you have, that goes kind of more back to the method because you're reliving things that you have done and experiences that you have had. But I mean, no one way is all encompassing, and no one way is wrong. But for you to have been a male stripper, which I have caught wind of, and your wife told me about it.
Yeah.
It would kind of be reliving the past.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be a good fitting role for you because you've already been there and you've done that. So.
Well, my wife, speaking of which, she who must be obeyed, she did have me to a strip for once. Once. So.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to play a song. I actually, I was at the Sam Ash, and Sam Ash is a sponsor for the Hellraisers Ball, which is on Rock Slam Radio. And I ran into this kid, and young guy, 20 years old, and he's just shredding the guitar. And of course, I have to, I don't know a stranger, so I go talk to anybody. And I went up to him and I was like, wow, you're really good. And I was like, do you know this? And he played it. And I said, do you know this? And he played it. And so then I kind of went, okay, you play this, something a little bit hard, something a little bit, obscure. And he played it. And I was like, wow. I was like, you're really good. Just to, it's a lot to just have a, encyclopedia music in your mind, but to know how the guitar parts are played. And so I asked him, I said, do you play for somebody? And he said, yes, I play for the band Foreshadow. And I said, are you the only guitarist? No, I'm the singer. The singer? What are you joking me? So apparently in this band Foreshadow, this kid who was, really good on guitar, there's somebody in the band that's actually better than him, I guess, that's playing guitar. So, or else I guess he'd be playing guitar. But they're going to be on next Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to talking to them. Hopefully they can come into the studio. If not, we'll be talking to them over the telephone. But I wanted to play one of their songs on the show this week. And so we're going to play War Without End from Foreshadow.
Soldiers born,
That was Foreshadow with the song War Without End. Again, they are going to be on Lester's tour bus next week, so we have that to look forward to. Okay. Mr. Thomas Curtis.
That was definitely good. The guitar there, man.
Well, that's the thing that we're finding more and more. I was talking to Anthony at the Brass Mug. He does the sound for them. He does the sound for the bar, and he was talking about just the level that all these bands are playing at today. And we talked about that last week too. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's a lot of bands out there, but the ones that are out there and they're playing and they're touring, the Florida bands, they're really, really good.
Yeah, I noticed you said something about you don't listen to the radio a lot. Now, I was just curious, do you remember all that good music coming out in, the mid to late 90s and early 2000s? You remember all that really good music?
Not really, no.
Yeah, me neither. And so it's really nice to see this, and especially on a local level. I mean, even local venues like Wickham Park, just hanging out there on a weekend, you'll catch guys out there with their guitar and amp, and they're just, shredding in it. And it's just, we're getting back to good music, and it's really exciting for me because I haven't even really been listening to music for several years now, and I'm getting
because it's the same thing. And I'm not anti commercial music. I'm not going to be a hipster because I'll listen to anything. You have the young guys today, and they say everything before 2000 sucks. And you have the old guys that say everything, beyond the 1980s sucks. And it's not true. There's good and bad music in every decade. I mean, literally from the 50s on. And I'm not going to be against a song if it's commercial, and I'm not going to be against a song if it's not commercial. And I just wish, more people would quit taking these hardline opinions on music. If a song is good, if it makes you feel something, that's what it's about. And
Lester, I got to be honest with you. I'm pretty diversified with my music choice too, and you probably. I don't think it'd be a good idea to show you my playlist because you probably make fun.
I already know your playlist. I don't even want. You know what's funny? I can't even say it. I can't even say it. He pulled up into the driveway probably about a year ago, and he was visiting me, and I've known Thomas for quite some time. I've kind of watched him blossom into what he's becoming over the years. And we sort of developed ourselves separately, but kind of have the same attitude about things, which has served us both well in our life. But he pulled up into my driveway listening to the song Hungry Eyes. Hungry Eyes. Now, I try to be fair with everything, but that's crossing a damn line. I mean,
Dirty Dancing is one of the best movies.
Dirty Dancing. And what do you love? He loves the movie Ghost.
Yes.
He's seen it dozens of times. Dozens. He loves the movie Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
When he goes to that girl, don't put baby in a corner, and he runs to her, he freaking loves it. And I'm not kidding.
No.
No, he's seen that movie dozens of times. Now, you might say that he has an appreciation for the kinder, gentler side of the way humanity is portrayed in movies. I think he has a Patrick Swayze man crush. Because what is the common thread between these movies? It's Patrick Swayze.
Have you seen Roadhouse?
I did see Roadhouse.
Rest my case.
Dude, that movie was soft gay porn.
Oh, come on.
Have
you seen Outsiders?
Yeah, Outsiders was a good movie.
There you go.
But he had a small bit part in The Outsiders.
Okay, you could admit that Patrick Swayze is. Have you seen Donnie Darko?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that was an interesting character for him. Yeah, Donnie Darko. Wasn't a huge fan of that movie. I did like the movie, but I didn't like the cult following that sort of followed that film.
Did you like my rabbit suit that I was wearing around for that year to follow?
Yeah, your that Halloween rabbit suit costume. That thing was badass, dude. But it seemed to me like the twist was sort of forced in that film. Like, it didn't just sort of happen. It's like they opened your mouth and rammed it down your throat. And, it was like it was supposed to be controversial. It was supposed to be, supposedly thought provoking and all that stuff, but it wasn't to me genuine. And Donnie Darko, I don't know why we're talking about this.
I don't either.
It reminded me of that film because we were talking about your Patrick Swayze man crush. Very, very emotional guy. Very glassy eyed as he watches the penny go up the door. Do you feel that being an emotional guy? Yeah, it's really sad because it's true. Do you feel that being, most guys, me included, pretty much, I sort of separate myself from my emotions. Do you feel that being well in touch with your emotions helps you in your line of work?
Well, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing about it is, and with the Living Truthfully, is we're taught from kids to just wear masks, and there's an idea that all actors are self-conscious, and a lot of it's not really their fault. We learn to be that way. When we leave to go to the grocery store, we have to put on this facade, and just different things, shape people. And me, I'd like to try to not put on too many masks if I can. And it definitely helps because, basically where the magic happens is when you get down to the real core of yourself. And that's when your performances, when they come from your core, is when they're true. And, hiding your emotions and things of that nature, that's going to inhibit some things.
Well, don't you find that sometimes being too emotional can be prohibitive in the sense that, let's say you're working with a girl that you find attractive, you're somewhat smitten with her, and in the film you have to be mean to her, or you don't like her character in a film. Can your natural emotional state conflict with what it is you're supposed to portray in a film?
Yeah, if you allow it to, it definitely could. But the thing is that you learn how to deal with things like that, and that's why you go through a process of learning to live truthfully under imaginary circumstances, and it's the way you set up to go into the scene is going to allow you to go ahead and get through it. Because you're living truthfully, but you're still taking into considerations the construct of the character and what's trying to be portrayed on screen. So, yeah,
that's cool. I do want to play one more song before the show ends. Again, I went to the Marilyn Manson Rob Zombie show yesterday and went to the IHOP to catch breakfast after the show. With my wife. It was just a fantastic evening. The only problem was it caused me to sleep till about 1 today. Almost did not get here on time. But while I was at IHOP, the guitarist for Burning Fair Verona, and if you listen to the show, you know that Burning Fair Verona is absolutely one of my favorite bands. And fortunately, even though we discuss a lot of bands from literally all over the state, Jacksonville, Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Melbourne, and Tampa, Burning Fair Verona is from right here. And Evan just happened to walk into the IHOP, and I had a chance to speak with him. And so while he's on my mind, I would like to play a Burning Fair Verona song. This is Self-Homicide. And that was Burning Fair Verona. Again, another excellent band. Now they are working on a new album. It's coming entirely too slow, but as with any really good band that pays attention to their recordings and the quality of the product that they produce, that's going to happen. So I don't know exactly when we can expect a new album, but I hear in theory it will be next year, hopefully the first half of the year instead of the last half. But I'm really looking forward to that. And then I usually talk about Mechanism on this show. They're also putting out a new album. So we have that to look forward to next year. And I will, like a thief in the night, take every opportunity I can to play their music on this show. I would like to thank our engineer today, Adam. He does his own show on Nordcore Radio called Nerdorama, and he is really doing an excellent job today. He has your basic Donatello Ninja Turtle hat on. Yeah,
I'm digging it,
and he's looking good. He's looking good. He's doing a great job. And that's good because Nolan is the station owner. He works harder than anybody I've ever seen. He works much harder than I do in life. I try to avoid as much work as possible and get away with what I can. And this guy just really makes a lot of fantastic things happen for a lot of people. And speaking of film, he is also a filmmaker. And I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see his stuff, but it is absolutely top end. And perhaps after the show today, he says he's busy, so I might have to have you come back to the show sometime. And when you have a time to hang out with Nolan, and he could show you some of the things that he's doing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that chance to talk with him. He's very interested.
Okay,
right. Nolan
said he will pop in.
Very excellent.
This is
You need a place to sit? You can sit on my lap. Oh, okay.
This is Nolan Ray. Nolan Ray is the manager of the Entertainment Global Media, and he is the owner.
This is how you get ahead in the entertainment industry. Get on your knees. That's what I tell.
Yeah.
So I figured that was appropriate for the way your show is going.
Well, while you're down there,
That wasn't.
I'm not sure how to take that.
That's all right.
There's a
It was.
movie, and I am a movie buff, but I forgot the name of the movie. The whole premise is where she's like, you can get ahead in life if you do this. You know what movie I'm talking about? Where the grandma is going to give him all of his her will or whatever.
Are you talking about Madonna's career?
Nice.
No, a different movie. Okay. No, I'm not.
Quick-witted, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, at the very end of the movie, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I will. It says, she goes, no, I meant get head in life, not get a head in life. So this person was going out of their way doing all these things so they can get
Whole
some
thing.
money. Yeah.
And she was just talking about being filleted.
Yes, and
That's
she's like
awesome.
90. Yeah, it's pretty
Very
awesome.
cool.
But if there is anybody who
Jeez.
knows that, please let me know the title of it. I see. I actually on Rotten Tomatoes before they switched it over to the new format. I have a screen name called "Never Say No to a Movie," and I rate all movies that I watch with one sentence. So,
Oh, very cool.
but there's hundreds of them, thousands maybe. Anyway, yes. Speaking of the movies you were telling me about, if the people can view them on YouTube, one is called Lonely Ben. That's the one I was just telling him about.
I'll write this down.
Yeah, I can also email them to you if you want.
Okay.
But yeah, Lonely Ben. The best way to find it is type in Purdy Paul Parsons is Lonely Ben, and then that'll bring you straight to the link. The other one's called 5 Shades of Jonathan, and that one we made in less than 20 hours. We had no lighting, and it was pretty awful, but we had a lot of fun with it, and we submitted it to the Tampa Orlando Film Festival or Tampa 48-hour Film Festival.
That's what it's all about, man. Is just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, Lonely Ben, that is a modern art masterpiece.
A matter of fact, I can probably drag it into your viewers can watch it if they want.
That's entire. You know what? We
It's
can
up to
just
you, though.
end the show with it. No, that's fine.
Well,
What do you think? Since it's sort of a film-based show today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see it. And if
Sure,
I could,
I'll
sooner
be
the
right
better.
back.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, guys.
So
No,
Nolan's
you're
going to
right,
throw
Nolan.
Lonely Ben, and then I guess we could just kill it after that, or
Very
whatever you
cool.
want to do.
Lester, I'd like to take a second, because I don't feel like I did Sarah due justice when I said I couldn't pronounce her name. It's Sarah, and it's I believe it's pronounced Skulko. It's Sculco.
And what can you tell me about Sarah?
I can tell you that she's got a very bright future in acting, and I'll tell you what, she lives truthfully in all the work that we do in class, and it's a real pleasure to watch. It's very
Is she
joyous to watch.
attractive?
She's 15, so we're going to leave it
Oh
at that.
my God!
Yeah, so I mean, I know that's your first instinct is to wonder about the attractiveness.
That's just wrong, Sarah. I apologize.
We're going to leave it at that. She's 15. She's a very nice girl, and she's very talented,
Really?
very much so.
And she's that talented? I mean,
I'm telling you, Pembroke Circle is going to come out soon, and it's probably going to be submitted to some film festivals and probably win some things. And I would check it out.
awesome. I look forward to actually checking that out. And
Yeah.
kid, you're doing a great job.
And one other thing that I would like to mention is that if anybody they want to check out acting, they want to potentially get into it. For one, go to auditions. That's one way to do it. Just go out there. But when it comes time to get some training, be sure to check out Marco DeGeorge and Rob Moss over at Truthful Acting Studios in Orlando. You can look it up on Facebook and look it up on Google. It'll bring you right to their site. And it'll give you a very nice overview of what they do over there.
Can they even take on new students at this point?
They start new programs, from time to time. So there's a waiting list, So I would definitely check them out. And they're starting a new class in January. So now's the time.
Okay, right now, Nolan, in 2 minutes, he's going to be loaning up the movie Lonely Ben. Do you mind watching it? And you watch a lot of film, a lot more film than I watch, and just kind of giving me, we'll watch it. I think it's about maybe 5-6 minutes long, 10 minutes long. I'm not sure, but it's 5 minutes. So watch it and then tell me what you think.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I can take harsh criticism. I'm fine. I actually prefer criticism rather than that was great. Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
It's very important to be honest, Nolan.
Well, at the same time, there's a lot of people, film people especially, that they'll say, "Oh, you should have done this, should have, would have, could have." Well, don't I know what I should have done. I made
Right.
the movie in less than 2 days. I get it.
It's more like what I want to say. What I like to hear is when people, are rating films and whatever. They're like, "Man, I know somebody who could have done this for you." You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely,
Because then
yeah.
I don't want to change my
Network,
style.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But the movie we wrote, or the short film, I guess it's not really a movie, a short film. I had this character in mind, and I just made a story around this entire guy, and that's what we did. Because I knew who he was personally. I knew, he says he didn't do any acting at all, and maybe, I know him personally. And he's a stand-up comic, Pretty Paul Parsons. He's got so many different characters, you never know who he is in real life. So he just said this was him. This is who he is.
Lonely Ben.
And I always wanted to make a black and white film, and I always wanted to make a silent film. So at the same time, I did it. I do stand-up comedy on the weekends, but I tried to get all the comedy out of it. Just to do something different. So anyway, this is going to start here in about 1 minute. I got to upload it into the system.
Very cool.
So anyway, but once again, anybody can re-find it on YouTube. Just type in Pretty Paul Parsons is Lonely Ben, and that'll bring you straight there. All right.
Very nice.
Thanks for the time, guys. Give me a minute, and I'll put this in there.
All right, absolutely. Yeah, very cool. I'd like to mention one other thing, before we part, with the Florida acting and film and all that. A very good friend of mine, J.R. Fuller, is starting up a group, and it's jumped from 0 to 240 members, I believe, in just a couple weeks' time. It's called Let's Make Films Florida, and that's something you might want to check out if you're interested in film.
Yeah, because the whole idea with this show, and a lot of what Nolan is doing is to sort of help not only develop the Florida culture but promote the Florida culture as well, and Florida art in the forms of all Florida art, and I love it all. You go to these art festivals. Melbourne, talking about where you're from, they have a huge one every year. And they have a really nice one in Gainesville every year, and I try to hit all of those. And then the film and the music and just the level of talent in this state and the way everybody's connected, it's truly a beautiful thing. And I think that that's going to manifest itself into some really great stuff over the next 10 years.
It really is, and I was just about to put that same number on there. I was going to say, give Florida 10 years and see where we are, because it's just over the last 10 years, just growing enormously with the music and film and everything. It's
okay. Are you ready to watch this video?
I want to see it. I want to see Lonely Ben.
Okay, Nolan, whenever you're ready, go ahead and run it.
What was that? I'll tell you what that was. That was another fun show from rockslamradio.com. Yeah.